and to let you know this meeting is being recorded. So my name is Sean and part of the CVC OEI team, and a bunch of us are here. And let me go ahead and share this slide. We'll just talk through some of the points today. All right, so today we're looking at creating two important items for your course in Canvas. And this is creating, number one, a home page. And we'll talk about why that's important to help your students know exactly where they're at. And then creating a module, the second thing. So the module tool being that very important tool to help you in organizing your course in Canvas. All right, before we really get started, I just want to point out that we have resources available to you, and beginning with the cvc.edu/resources page, we have some other items there for you, and also let you know that this session is being recorded and you'll have access to the archive. All right, and just to frame it, we are focused on those of you that are in a situation to move into a temporary remote situation. So if a spectrum shows face-to-face teaching and learning on one side and fully online teaching on the other end of the spectrum, with hybrid being somewhere in the middle, we're focused on this area here where most likely most people are used to face-to-face and just transitioning into a temporary remote situation. But of course, all of this information is good if you were considering moving into fully online instruction. And we're just going to focus on two things today: creating the home page, walking you through how to do that. And that's not right. It should say creating a module. So sorry for that error. All right, now another thing to say for all of my baseball fans out there, today is opening day, but opening day at home because MLB is shut down right now. So I'm here representing my New York Mets, if you can see. So let's go Mets, and if any of you want to say in the chat who your team is. But one thing that we know from baseball, or at least I learned from my son, is that at the beginning of the game, we have the pregame managers gathering. So here's our rules of play, all right, to make this brief webinar run smoothly, all right. First of all, for Q&A, I'll present for about the first 20 minutes, and then we'll have time for Q&A afterwards. We actually have 45 minutes that we can go up to, so we have plenty of time for Q&A. For the chat management, I recommend that you keep notes of your questions, and then if they're answered through the presentation, then you can scratch them off and then afterwards type it into chat. The in-play boundaries simply means that we're just focused on very specifically building out a home page and building out modules. We have a lot of other elements of online instruction that we have a lot of resources for. So we're just going to stay focused on those two items, and that's our in-play boundary. But I also would like for you to let us know any further things you would like to learn about Canvas and online learning. Make those recommendations in the chat. So, all right, so now we're going to dive right into the Canvas shell. All right. So maybe not that much. All right. So I'm starting you off with the finished product, and then we'll go back and build out the home page and a basic module from a blank Canvas shell. All right, so we're in Canvas. I'm starting from the point where you are already logged into Canvas. And what we have here is when students first log into Canvas and locate your course in the dashboard, when they click onto your course card, this is what they would see, of course, with the information being specific to your course. And what you see here is that the elements are telling you where they are. Make sure they're in the right class. Welcome to the name of your course. Make sure that they know who you are as the instructor. And this is something that a lot of instructors are using, is Zoom to have virtual face-to-face synchronous meetings. Not face-to-face, but virtual synchronous meetings. So a link to Zoom. And then just some basic instructions on getting started. So another thing to note is that these areas are separated by headings. So I'll show you briefly how to do that so that your course is made accessible without you even really having to learn too much about accessibility for all students. Now, as you see in the Getting Started area, we are using the modules tool as the very powerful tool that Canvas provides, and directing students that way to access all of your course information. So you would direct them to the modules link in the course navigation menu. All right. Now let me just show you here. Let me go to Student View. And as you can see, the way I have it set up, and this is something that we recommend, is the items we have in the course navigation menu is minimal, so that helps students know exactly where they need to go without having to look through a lot of text. So it's simply the home page, announcements, modules, and grades. So now students see where they're at and they see how to get started. Then they select the modules link. And now this is just one module. This is one example. Your course obviously could have several modules to finish out this semester. So the module is set up with the name of whatever the topic is they're learning for that week or for that unit. And as you can see, a module is made up of different types of items, content pages, and assignments, okay? So let me go ahead and leave the student view. And now I am going to go to a blank shell. And this is an unpublished, nothing's been added to it. The default page is prompting you to create a module, okay? But what we're gonna start with first is creating that home page. So in the course navigation menu, I'm gonna go to Pages. And as you can see, there's no page that's been created yet. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. This plus page button to the right, big blue button, I select that, and now I'm creating my home page. All right, so now I've titled it, it's welcome, and what you see here is in the rich content editor, you have these items that are similar to working in Microsoft Word. You can also add multimedia, video, audio embeds. But of course, the first basic thing to add is text. So you can say whatever the name of your course is, and then You know, one good way to let them know that they're in the right place is to go ahead and put the course description in. So let's say you want to get that course description from your syllabus, right? So I can go ahead and copy this, and now I'm going to use a function. Actually, let me just put a word in here. I'm going to use a function that is easy to use, that can help you when you're copying and pasting information, to keep the formatting plain so that you're not bringing in any unnecessary formatting, and that is to right-click and paste and match style, or paste as plain text. It's a great tool to use. And let me go back. You can see I've just selected this placeholder, and then I go ahead and paste that information in. So now you can add another section, a little bit about you. And as you see, I'm hitting the return button to each time create its own paragraph section. So that's what helps to begin to separate and delineate all your information. And you can go ahead and type that in, or copy and paste the way I showed you. And getting started. And then something about going to the modules, okay? Now I'm going to show you how to set the headings correctly. That is to put your cursor in the titles and select heading 2, and then I just go ahead and do that. So that was your very quick accessibility lesson. So it's a great way to get started on the right foot, so to speak. All right, so now I have this page that I've begun to build out, and I'm going to go ahead and save and publish it. The reason that I want to publish it is that if the page is published, you can then use it as your home page. So there's 2 steps to doing that. So first of all, the first step will be in the page to go to the 3-dot menu at the right and select Use as Front Page. All right, so now that it's selected as your front page, and I'll show you this, if I go to View All Pages, you can see that it is identified as the front page. Now I'll go to the home page, which currently is set to empty modules, but I'm going to go ahead and change that by choosing the home page button here. And here it defaults to course modules. I'm going to choose Pages Front Page. And since I've already made that page the front page, that's what it shows up as. Now I save it, and now as you can see, it's your home page. And again, I can go and check the student view just by selecting the button, and now I see that if a student selects, well, we don't have modules yet, but let's say they were somewhere else in the course, they could always just go to the home page. All right, and they have that home base to always return to. All right, so now I'm going to leave the student view, and I will now begin building out a module. Now, currently there's nothing in the modules, but once we build out the first module, then we'll actually have content. All right, and just as you see here, big blue button on the right, I'm going to create a module. And I'm going to talk about also just good practices in building out courses, and it's how you title everything is so critical to help your students know where they're at. So let's say you are in learning unit 10 in your course, maybe at this point in the semester. So maybe I want to go ahead and title that module 10. and whatever the topic is, you go ahead and provide that for your students. So now they know exactly where they're at. All right, so now I have a module. I could go in and hit the plus module button again and go ahead and add another module, right? So you can do that as well. Now, let's go back to the first module, and I can begin adding different items directly into the modules. This is a great way to build out your modules, because over here, yes, I have a pages area, I have an assignments area, but this is sort of a quick route. So if I hit this plus button, I can add all of these different items to the module directly. So I'm going to go ahead and select the page, and I'm going to use, I'm going to create a new page in the module. All right. And for this page, I'm going to start them out with just an overview, and there you go. Abracadabra, it is in your module. I will go over and add another page, and maybe I'll say something specific. So now it's beginning to take form. And know also that you can add other types of items. So let's say I'm going to add an assignment, all right? And the great thing about assignments in Canvas is that students will be able to submit work to you digitally, and you'll be able to grade them directly in Canvas, and it will populate the gradebook automatically once you grade it. All right. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. All right, so there you go. So there's a basic module, and there are some items added to the module. Now I also want to show another function. I could add items to the next module, but you could also create your own template pages, right? So if I go in and start adding information to each page individually, right? And I could just leave a generic setup. I could go and also duplicate the entire module. So if I go to the three-dot menu and check and select the duplicate function, now I've created a copy of the module. So again, if you have the similar formatting, an overview page, a topic page, and some kind of assignment, then you can see how you can quickly build out your course. Okay, now let me go back to the course that I already had fully done, and I'm in modules, or I'm sorry, I'm at the home page. Let me go to modules, and now let me just show briefly how these pages are built out, because we also want to provide recommendations, good practices. So an overview page, a topic page, and an assignment. If I select the overview page, you can have something as simple as talking about what students will actually cover in this module. Exploring key concepts, maybe you put a discussion in there, participate in, this is what you'll be doing. And then this is just a courtesy that you can tell them select next to continue. So they select the next button, and as you see, now a previous button is there, a next button is there. Students can also move through the module sequentially using this function as well. So in this first topic page, I have a heading with an introduction. This would be similar to you getting up for your lecture and saying, today we're going to talk about this era and give a little bit of detail. And the activities that you have, read this chapter in your textbook, and then any other information that you want to point out to them, all right? I select next, and now I am in the assignment, and the assignment, you have an overview on it, you have instructions on it, and how it'll be graded, okay? We do have resources if you want to look into even using the rubric tool, which we also highly recommend. And we do have other resources that talks you through building out assignments as well. Now, let me go back to the blank course that I was looking at, and I want to show you another important setup, right, that you'll need to look at, and that's in your settings area. All right, in your settings area, here's details on your course. The third tab is your navigation. Your navigation, this is where you manage the course navigation on the left. As you can see, there's a lot of different tools that are available. And one thing we're looking at here is keeping the course very simple and having students just with as many options are as needed to complete the course. So I'm going to go to each item and just simply select the three-dot menu and disable. So as I go through a lot of these items, I can simply disable. And when I'm finished, I select save. Remember to do that, right? Otherwise it won't. Okay. So now let me go back to what I already built out. Now I have just a basic menu so that when I again go to the student view, this is what the students see. All right. So that's how you manage this menu. If you have any other items, of course, you go ahead and include those. All right, now the last thing to look at here before we get to answering questions is publishing, all right? So this course is not yet published, as you can see in course status. So students will not even be able to access the course until it's published. And then in the modules, none of the modules are published, and none of the items in the modules are published, okay? So let me just start with this swing overview page. I go ahead and select the publish button. Now it's published, but technically students will still not be able to see it for two reasons. Number one, the module that it's in is not published. So I'll need to go and publish the module, and now students will be able to access those items. And then the second thing is on the home page, now I need to make sure that the course itself is published. So now that's published. So the home page, remember I said at the beginning that I published the home page first, set it as the front page, published the course, and in modules, I went ahead and published whichever modules I want them to see. I could go back and unpublish an item if that maybe that item's just not built out completely yet and you're not ready to share with them. And then you can go ahead on through and publish all your items. And then that is building out a home page and a modules area, okay? So now we'll go to questions.
I don't see any in the chat yet that you have not responded to. If someone has a question they would like to ask Sean, you can either type in chat or go ahead and unmute yourself and ask it. And while people are thinking, I will just add a little addendum to what Sean said about the headings. Sometimes people think, oh, well, I'll just make it a bigger font and it'll look exactly like the heading. But you want to follow the process Sean showed you of making sure you actually, and Sean, maybe you could do it again while I'm talking, you're actually selecting the heading style, because it does something, you don't need to know the technical stuff, but it does something in the HTML code that allows a screen reader to know this is an actual heading, not just bigger font that looks like it's a heading.
Yeah, that's a good point. And if you have more information that is actually a subheading, right, you can say, well, this is heading 3 because it's a subheading of 2, right? So you just have this small menu that you can use it accordingly. So
Kind of like an outline. Paul, you had unmuted at one point. Did you have a question you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I have several. I'm not actually faculty, I'm staff here. I am the...
Well, then get off the call, Paul. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, unfortunately, I have to deal with staff. We'll deal with some faculty who are novices at Canvas, which is why I'm in today. I have been asked to take and come up with an online list for alternate laboratory experiments, and I have 2 questions regarding this. One is, can I add up PDFs as regular documents within individual modules? And the other is, how do I go about copying individual modules and importing individual modules from Canvas Commons? And the third one is, do I have to make my modules accessible to Commons in order for new faculty to be able to import them directly to their Canvas shells?
okay, I'll start with PDFs. PDFs is a special situation, okay? If you, and it sounds like you might be in a situation where your instructor really needs the exact PDF for students to access, but we do recommend, if possible, if you can, to take that information and move it over into a Canvas page, because it's much easier to make it accessible, okay? So that said,
I have the individual experiments already set up as PDFs in the new lab manual as individuals. Okay. It'd be
so,
just a copy each one over.
Okay, so
as
just
an individual module.
So just to keep in mind that those PDFs, you'll need to make sure those are accessible, and you might possibly have the resource of your DSPS department at your school to do that. So
I'm going to build it and then I'm going to build it and let DSPS handle it.
Okay, so once they fix it for you, what's the word? I can't think the word. Remediate. Once they remediate for you, then you have the PDF file. What we recommend is putting it in a Canvas page, and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to edit this, and let's say this is your lab 1, right? And I'll go ahead and select this title, and over here I can manage files. So I'll go to Files and upload a new file, and then this will give me access to whatever I have in my device. So I choose File, and let me see if I have a PDF here. Well, let me just do a PNG for now, whatever. All right, so now I've selected the file. I'm going to go ahead and upload. All right, so now the file has been uploaded, and now it's accessible through this link. So what I've done is I've created a link to the file in the course. So I'm going to go ahead and save the page. All right, so now here's lab 1. If the students want to download it, they would select the title, and actually, you know what, let me put a PDF in because I wanted to show you something else. So let me do this again. All right, choose file. All right, here's a PDF, perfect. All right, so now it's a PDF upload. Okay, I think it's up. All right, save the page. So now you also have this preview icon that shows up, but it's within a Canvas page that gives you context. So if there's any more instruction that needs to be provided here, maybe even a video that you're adding to the lab, it's all within that page. And then I can go ahead and preview the item. All right, and then, ooh, that's one of my receipts, haha. Okay, so they will have access to that. Okay, so let me ask, does that answer your question?
That answers the question about how to upload a PDF. I do have these also available by Word. When you do the upload, does it go resident onto the Canvas site so that you don't have to have access to your local drives, local resources?
It does. So now I go to the files area, and you can see that I uploaded it. It automatically parked it, so to speak, in the files area. So you can be on another device, anywhere you go, and they have access to the PDF.
Okay, so how would you allow, if you, for example, have a second instructor that is also doing a second section of the same course, how would you allow access to that same PDF?
So if, depending on your admin rights in Canvas, within your institutional instance of Canvas, you can course copy. So you go to settings and import course content, and then you select copy a Canvas course. And here is where you can bring up another instructor's course. So
He's wanting to share the stuff he's made with other instructors. Is that what you're wanting to do, Paul, or are you wanting to get their stuff into your course shell?
This is going to be a collaborative effort. We have 6 chemistry classes of the same section right now. Some of the instructors are more familiar with the ability to, more familiar with the online resources. So if there's an instructor that's come up and found a really cool video and they forward it to me, I want to make sure that that's available to all the other instructors in that course, not just the individual section.
okay, so yeah, so this will work for that, because maybe you are collecting those resources in your own Canvas, like a development shell, and then from there you would actually go to the instructor's course and do a course copy from your course to their course. So for some people, this is looking at it backwards. You go to the destination course first, and then you call up your course that has the resource this way by importing. So then you would select, and you can select all content or specific content. You can adjust due dates if you like, and import. And then when you go to select content, you say, well, I have this file over here that I want to move over to your course files.
Okay.
Or I have an entire module, right? And then, yeah, okay.
And then you select them over there. That's the part that I was missing before, because I tried to import before and it came in with everything. For some reason, it couldn't be selected specific. So
okay,
it made it very difficult to deal with.
Okay, yeah, a lot of duplicates and yeah, a lot of craziness.
Do you do the same process when you're going to Creative Commons out there?
So Commons, that's more so, it's a function, I mean, you already have access to your instance. So Commons is more if you want to share it with people at other institutions or publicly. But you could go that route as well. You could put your, in fact, let me think about this. You create all these resources, you could just put it in Commons and just have your instructors go and retrieve it from Commons. So
I'm also more interested in finding the stuff in Commons and importing it down.
Okay, yeah. So in
how
that
do you
case,
create a module from Commons is my question.
You go to Commons here in the global nav. And once you're in Commons, you go ahead and search what you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once you find the what you're looking for, you have this import download function, and then you select which of your course you want to import it into.
Okay.
And it's as simple as that.
And can you select what you're looking for? Because there's no reason to import the whole course, just the part of it.
Yes, you can.
You can?
Oh, from here? No, not when you're doing that. I'm
You just
sorry.
have to get 100% of what somebody put out in Commons.
Okay, so you can't pare it down. You'd have to import it into some type of temporary course and then move it over.
Yeah, so I would recommend to you that you have sort of your trash course, and you just bring it all in and then decide what you want to get out of that and then move it into another one of your courses.
Okay, that was a big deal.
Paul, are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
able to see the screen, or we can't quite tell if you have video capability? So are you seeing the screen?
Yeah, I've got my cell phone here. You can see me now.
Okay, but
I've got
are
my
you
cell
seeing
phone.
the chat?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
I have a 2-monitor setup, but I don't have a computer. I don't have a
That-
camera and microphone on my home PC.
Okay, that's fine. We just couldn't tell from the way Zoom was displaying you whether you could see it. And there's a link we want to put in the chat for you that is about lab and science resources. And we weren't sure if you were going to be able to see the chat.
Yep.
Okay, we'll put it in there. Great.
Got
Thanks.
it.
Anybody else have a question for Sean? We got about 9 more minutes. Don't be shy.
And I got the link.
Okay, good. Was just going to go grab it and put it in again, but you saw it.
Okay, let me show this. All right, where's my, all right, so in the CVC Resources, we have this, it's actually under the emergency preparedness info. Go ahead and put that in the chat, unless somebody already did.
I just did.
Okay. And this recording will be available for you in the open Canvas shell.
Can you
I
make
believe-
your screen a little bigger? The
Oh, yeah.
links are really hard to read.
That's right, I forgot. All right, and this page I think is being updated, so it'll be better. So select Open Canvas Shell, and over here in modules we have our webinars, on-demand webinar recordings. So you'll see the video of the archive and also the slide decks that we have. So you will see that there as well. All right, and of course the guides. You can access the guides directly from the global navigation menu over here, the help. And you can go through the guides, search what you're looking for. We also have a self-paced intro to Canvas that's based on a 4-week course that you can go through at your own pace, no instructor, and you can register, but really it's just getting you into our instance of Canvas so you can go through that course. That might be helpful for you as well. Okay.
Any other questions at this point about modules or creating a welcoming homepage? Or is there something you want Sean to show you again because you didn't quite get it the first time, which is understandable. You're absorbing a lot of information the last couple of weeks. Also keep in mind, there are the Canvas guides. And Sean, do you mind showing, when you're done with that, do you mind showing how you, so if you click the little help menu in the global navigation, wherever you are in Canvas, doesn't matter what course you're in, this pop-up will come. Each institution has its own set of things, but all of them should include something that says search the Canvas guides. And then you've got access to, when you click on the little icon that says Canvas guides, there's instructor guides and student guides. So you can also direct your students, if they're unsure about things in Canvas, you can either go and grab the link to the appropriate guide and put it on the relevant page in your course, which is really nice. And you can also go find the guides later after this call to help you with modules or the home page or quizzes or assignments or whatever.
Like this is a good one. How do I submit an online assignment? I can copy that, and then in the assignment itself, I can provide that link for students. Maybe go over here, and
I think it was, how do I submit an online assignment? And that way students have because they're learning it too, just like you, a lot of them. So this way they'll have it in right where they need it.
and this is a function I didn't show earlier. It's just linking to a URL. Insert the link and save the page. So now they're going through the assignment. How do I submit an online assignment? They have the guide, they look through it. All right, awesome. Close that window out, go back to the assignment.
Great, we got 4 more minutes. Anyone have a question they want to ask Sean?
Create videos for your students. Once you've created a video, you can upload it to YouTube or 3C Media. Let's say this is a video that I created, which I did not, but I go ahead and share it with the Embed code. And this is a great way to provide further instruction for students in the online environment. I can insert edit media and choose the embed function. Okay, and save. So now I have some information. I made a quick video of myself. So it just gives them a little bit more of that human touch in your course.
And one thing to be aware with videos is you want to make sure they have accurate captions, not just the auto-generated, which YouTube does automatically, but a properly captioned one would have punctuation, capital letters, and the word match, which is one of the reasons Sean was saying you want to make sure you've created it so you're able to give it accurate captions.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another 1.5 minutes. Speak now. Okay, then let me ask you, somebody unmute and tell us what's one thing you're taking away from the call that you didn't know before. And you just click the little microphone icon to unmute yourself.
I need to contact my Canvas administrator to get 2 extra temporary shells that I can use to import course content before I move it over.
Yep, that'll be helpful. Knowing your Canvas admin is always a good thing to do.
I am writing that now.
Great. Who else has something they're taking with them out of the call? Oh, we've got a shy bunch, don't we? Okay. We won't force you. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you taking the time to come. And Sean, thank you for sharing your wisdom about the welcoming homepage and modules. And
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. We look forward to connecting with you at another webinar or in another way. Best of luck.
All right, thank you all. We'll see you around maybe in another webinar. Have an awesome day, have an awesome week. Stay well, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.